Hey, how's it going everybody? Try here. I'm down at the beach and I want to teach you a few fundamentals of blocking. The first fundamental that I believe personally is the most important of all is footwork. The second fundamental that I'm going to teach you is handwork, how to penetrate over the net and put your hands in the right spot. The third fundamental that I'm going to teach you today is the one that I forgot. I remember. The third fundamental is knowing your call. So you need to know where you're trying to block, and you need to know where your partner needs to be blocking so that you can set the other team up to hit it to you. So let's go over fundamental number one, my favorite, footwork. I think a lot of people underestimate how important footwork is, and they always wonder why their hands aren't in the right spot. What I've learned over the years is that it's because your feet weren't in the right spot to start with. You need power to jump. So the most important thing is getting your feet underneath your body. And what I mean by that is if you're leaning a bit to the right, you're not going to jump as high up and down. If you're leaning a bit to the left, you're not going to jump as high up and down. So it's about positioning yourself in the right spot, knowing where you want your hands to be, and then putting your feet in the right spot so that you can reach that exact spot once you jump. So you want to run directly to the spot you think where they're going to be, and then as the set goes up, you want to make a big adjustment first to get you in the general spot, and then as the ball fades, you make these small adjustments. Sometimes it's big and you come back small, but a lot of people want to just go big and just stay here, but there's wind outside, so if the ball dies inside, now I'm trying to block line high, but I'm reaching, so my hands are only going to be able to go low. You don't want to have to cover too much ground, so when you run up to the net, you got to get yourself in the right position to start with. That's really important. A lot of people will just run up to the net and go up anywhere. You want to figure out where your opponent's going to attack as early as possible, sometimes even before they know where. And that's going to be dictated based on the pass, right? And once you know the pass and you see where the hitter is, you can set up right in front of that hitter. I personally think that most people just run up to the net, they get in one position, and then once they see the set go up, they take one step towards where the ball is, and wherever their feet land, they jump from there. And then they reach with their hands wherever they're trying to block. For me, I've found that it's really important to teach yourself to take multiple steps if you need to. So you want to get yourself in position early as possible, as close to where the set is going to be. And then from there, you can take a big step, but then you can also take a micro step is what I like to call it, which is only 3 or 4 inches. But some of the best blocks I've ever gotten in my life are because I took that 3 or 4 inch step. And I think it's the most important thing ever, because if you don't jump and get the height that you want, your technique up above the net is going to hurt, suck, whatever you want to call it. Second fundamental that I'm going to teach you here today is extremely important once your feet are set, and that is your handwork, right? Once you get your feet set and you get a good jump, now you're in control, you're balanced, and you can put your hands where you want it. One thing that I think a lot of people fall into the trap of is thinking that if they reach side to side, they're going to be covering more net than if they just go straight over at the ball. And I think a lot of coaches will say the words penetration, but a lot of players don't really understand why. And the reason is, the closer you get your hand to the ball, the more you can cut off the angles, right? And the less court that you actually need to cover. You don't need to move your hands side to side that much. When you watch some of the best players in the world, it looks like they're just pressing straight on the ball. And what they're really doing is lining up really well on the ball, pressing, taking away an angle with one hand and taking away another angle with another hand. And it all really comes down to penetration. The further over you press, the less to the side you have to reach. And that's the more that you're inside your shoulders, your hands are inside of your body line, your shoulder line, the more in control you're going to be. So the biggest thing here is understanding how to cut off angles with the penetration of your hands over the net. Most important fundamental that they teach is penetration, right? So breaking this plane. If the net were to continue to go up, that would be the plane of the net, right? You want to get over into the opponent's side of the court as much as possible. So once you get your feet under you, you're in the right spot. Now you want to go as straight over as possible and just press. And once you figure out where the ball is and where you want to go, you figure out what the line would be. So if they're hitting angle and they're going to hit to that corner, and you know you're trying to block the ball from going to that corner, you figure out where a line would be from that ball to that corner and figure out how close to the ball you can cut off that line. Instead of reaching, a lot of people want to go here and reach into the angle here, but look how high my hands are over the net. I'm not taking much court for my defender. They can really hit anywhere except for this little spot. But if I go and cross that line where the ball is going to cross over here, I'm taking a lot more court and I have twice as much of my arm over the net. So that's why you want to penetrate into their side of the court. The closer you can get your hand to the ball, the more court you're covering for your defender and the more court you're taking away. So now you have two hands, right? So you put your feet in the right position, you press one hand on the call that you know you want to take. So for me here, it would be down the low line. And now I can leave this other hand in the seam and try to take as much court as I can here as well. But the thing you want to avoid is being set up way too far inside and then reaching to your call. Because now if they hit low, I might get a block. If they hit high, I'm definitely not getting a block. What I want to do is press straight over into that line where the ball is going to go, and then I'm high and I'm taking the low shot and I'm balanced, right? Because I'm not off axis like this. When I'm off axis, I can't come down and make moves as well. So when my body is not off axis, I can land balance, turn, and make a play. But if my body's off axis in midair, now I'm landing like this. My hand maybe will have to go on the ground. I might be falling, and then I have to get up and go chase down a set. The most important thing in transitioning is getting a good set, right? So it's really important that you can land balance and make a move. There's a lot of benefits to just being balanced, solid, and over the net in the right position. If it is difficult for you to penetrate over the net because you're not getting high enough, a great thing to do is just lower the net and play on a smaller court if possible. That's a good way to just get the feel. What you really want is the muscle memory. That was been probably one of the most valuable things in my whole career, was playing on a small little net, that little baby court over there in the back since I was a little kid. My body was able to understand what it feels like, not just hear what I'm supposed to do, but I was able to feel what it feels like to penetrate over the net and get my good contact on the ball when blocking. So the third fundamental skill here is knowing your call. It sounds really simple, but I've missed a lot of plays in my career because I forgot what my call was, or I went rogue and did something on my own and it didn't line up with what my partner was doing behind me, so we lost the point. You want to make the opponents have to make a perfect play. You don't want to make a simple mistake and let them get an easy point because of it. So know your call. Understand what side of the court you're trying to take, what piece of the court you're trying to take, and understand what side of the court or what piece of the court your defender is going to take. You also have to understand who your partner is, what their skills are, what their strengths are. Maybe they can pick up the cut shot better than the middle shot, so you're going to come in and take a little bit of the middle and help them out. That comes down to a lot of communication. So before the serve goes, you guys both got to be on the same page, where they're just giving each other a simple line call, which is probably the most popular call in the sport. I've gone full matches at the professional level where I just call line the whole time. Sometimes it doesn't have to be complicated. But the most important thing is that you and your partner are on the same page and understanding what your responsibilities are on that particular play. Once you have that, once you understand that, you go into your position, and that's when your footwork comes into play, right? You're putting yourself in position to get a powerful jump, but also be able to jump in the space where you can put your hands in the spots where you can take that space away from your opponent and either block the ball or funnel them to your partner. A lot of people, they want to get the block every time, right? So the ball goes angle and they don't like funneling it to their partner. But as a blocker, you need to take a lot of pride in your defender getting a dig. A lot of times that comes from you taking up the rest of the court, forcing them to go to your partner, and then you guys are then able to transition and get the point. All right, so those are my simple fundamentals for blocking. I hope you guys can put in a little bit of time, practice it. Like I said, it's muscle memory, so you got to get out here and do it. Follow along on my videos if you guys want more of my training fundamentals. I'll try to throw in a few more advanced skills as we go along. Shoots!